Tonight we have a Sanyo RDS20 stereo cassette deck to take a look at on the bench. And this is just a basic two-head Dolby B cassette deck that will support metal tape. Have no idea what's wrong with this one. Let's take a look and see what's wrong. Okay, let's see if it'll power up first of all. Well, the lights light up, that's a good sign. That appears to work. Let's take the top off this thing and just take a look at the build quality, and then we'll check it out and see if it actually does anything. And look inside this machine reveals a lot more than I expected to find in this. I thought this was going to be a really low-end deck. But what a surprise. I mean, and the belt's good and strong. Lots of torque there. We don't have any belt issues on this, which is really unusual. Normally, a deck of this age, you're going to have belt problems. But this thing here, I stall this out, it actually stalls the motor. So we don't have a problem with the belt on this. It's got a real transformer, of course. And yes, these two down here, those are line connected. So if you stick your finger in there, you're going to get a jolt. So keep your fingers out of this. Problem areas on this that we're going to address before I put this thing back together. We're going to definitely clean the record play switch, because that's always a known problem on these decks that use a mechanical switch to select between record and playback. So we'll give that a shot of cleaner before we're done. But before I do anything, I'm going to hook it up and just see if it actually works or not, and take a listen to how it sounds. Okay, one of the first things we're going to check is to make sure that the mechanism goes through all its proper stages to make sure it engages and disengages. So to do that, I've removed the tape cover so that I can actually close this up and see. I can see that the capstan shaft is turning, I can feel it. But I want to make sure that the mechanism goes through the motions, so let's just try the different... Okay, fast forward works. Rewind doesn't appear to do anything. And play also doesn't appear to do anything. Whatever, it'll go through the motions. Okay, it will with the cover off as well, or the cover open. As you can see, the head raises up, but the pinch roller never engages. So it looks like our pause cam may be stuck. So let's just take a look at the mechanism operation. So if we look down at the mechanism, when I press the buttons here, you will see that the cam gear is rotating. There's stop. Fast forward. Fast forward actually engages. There's stop. So the cam gear is operational, but it's not completing the loading cycle. More than likely what's happened is one of the levers in here is gummed up. So I need to actually remove this transport so that I can take a look at the operation of mechanically and see why it's not going into all the correct modes. The head is raising up, but it's not releasing the pinch roller. It's like it's stuck in pause, and it's not rewinding either. So I'm going to remove a couple of screws in the bottom here. I've got the power off on the deck now. I'm going to remove a couple of screws in the bottom and on the top. Actually, I can probably remove this base too. So let's just remove the wood base from this. I want to take a look at what is accessible on this. As you can see, this unit here has the permanent patch cords. It's not like it doesn't have plugs on the back, so this was probably sold as part of a system. And rather than put plugs on it, they've just hardwired the patch cords in. The gray one for the line in, the black one for the line out. So removing the bottom reveals the bottom of the mechanism. I might even be able to get at this without pulling the whole mechanism apart. Because as you can see, we can access a lot of the mechanism and just see what modes it's going through. So that's what I'm going to do now, is just examine and see what modes are working and what modes are not, what's sticking. So I have a feeling it's one of these levers is sticking. and that I get a suspicion it's one of these metal levers is sticking as it operates the mechanism. There's a slide plate here that moves back and forth too. Okay, that might have, this little lever down here was sticking. Just put a little bit of oil down that lever here it's kind of gummed up. This one right here. There. Okay, and now let's just see whether we've made any progress. Because that lever was sticking just a little bit. Okay, let's try rewind now. Okay, play is working. Pinch roller is engaged. No. So I got a problem with rewind. Let's investigate a little further. I've made some progress though because the play idler now is turning and the pinch roller is engaged. So that's something that wasn't before. Let's just check the auto stop and see if it'll stop if I stop there. See, now the auto stop is working. So I've made a little bit of progress. I've still got to get the rewind. It's still sticking. I have a sneaking suspicion there's supposed to be a spring right in here that holds the record lever in position. And if this is not in position, it doesn't work properly. It jams the mechanism. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a spring there. I didn't see a spring fall to the cabinet when I took it apart. It's got to be in here somewhere though. So after violently shaking, a spring falls out. It was trapped down here on the board. So that spring, I believe, goes right back here. Let's just get it in place and see whether it makes any difference to the way that this thing operates. Okay, it hooks down here on one side here. The other side hooks up on top here. And that's where it goes. I'll show you a close-up here. So there's the spring I just put back on right here. What it does is, this is the record lever and it just keeps it in its rest position. Let's check out the operation now. The rewind is turning. See? Let's put tape in it. See, the tape will move now. Okay, tape's moving. And there's some sound, looks like, coming off this tape. Okay, fast forward's not working very well. Looks like we may have to put some rubber renew on the idlers. Looks like the idlers himself could be in pretty sad shape. There's not a lot of torque. Let's try doing that. Let's put some rubber renew on the idlers. To do that, I'm going to actually remove the deck itself from the chassis. I've already disconnected the record play switch spring off the bottom here. Take out these screws. And see, the record play spring normally attaches right to here. So I've just removed that from there. And then I'm going to remove these other two screws here and see if we can take the mechanism out and get at the idlers. And if you guess this was a Japanese-made deck, well, you'd be correct. It is. So just lift out here. I've got the power turned off, by the way. With the power unplugged. And this whole deck should just lift out. Oh, I got one more screw I can take out here. This whole deck should just pop right out of the face. It should be able to lift it. Let's undo some wire ties here. The back. Should be able to lift the deck up and out. With any luck, or down. I guess up. There's some gunge in here too I should clean out while I've got it apart. Now I've got the mechanism out, completely out. I can work on this thing out of the rest of the unit. One nice thing about a lot of these decks, not all the Japanese decks were made like this. Some of them were horrible to work on, but at least this one here, there's enough clearance on the wires that after I undo some wire ties, I have enough room that I can actually work on the mechanism and power it up outside of the actual box itself. You can see the mechanism's going through the motions here. Everything's working like it's supposed to, but there's not a lot of torque here. So I want to get in behind here where the rubber idler tire is and put some rubber renew. It's going to be right probably in the middle here. So there's the tire I'm after, right down there. Just going to get in there with some rubber renew. We'll get some rubber renew on that. That should hopefully increase the torque. Stinky stuff. Hazardous stuff too. So you don't want to get this on your skin, and you don't want to breathe it in, because there's all kinds of warnings on the back label here. Okay, let's just see what it does now. Fast forward. It looks like it's working. And rewind. Looks like that's working. And play. Looks like that's working. Okay, let's put this mechanism back into the cabinet and see whether I've got this thing working. So basically there was a spring that was missing that fell off that pulls back the record lever. Spring similar to this one, but this one here is what pulls down the lockout. Right, there's a lever here, the spring here. That's the record lockout that locks out the record button. There's another one in the back that holds the mechanism in its rest position, and it was allowing it to float. So I replaced that missing spring. I lubricated a couple of the levers that were sticking, and I put some rubber renew here on one of the idlers that was slipping in the back. And that's all that has been done to this unit. It's running the original belts. The belts seem to be okay at this point in time, and we're going to get the deck back together and see if this machine's going to make any music. These are always a pain to put these things together. Because there's not very much clearance. It's like they've designed them, they built the unit around the chassis, and it's not the easiest to get out. I got to get the eject button back in here too. I think it goes in like this. I think it goes in like that. I think that's how it slides in. Pretty sure I'm in place. Okay. Now I just got to put a couple screws in to hold the mechanism in place. Bottom might not be in place though. No, the bottom's not in right. I'm hung up here on a wire. There we go. Now the bottom goes into place. Good. Okay. Last two screws in the bottom. Then we have to reconnect. These are my head wires. Where the heck are they going? They go in behind there. Okay, now I got to reconnect the record switch. This is it here. The record play switch. The spring goes around here. And that's what engages the record. When that lever gets pulled up, as you can see, it pulls on the spring, which pulls the record play switch. Okay, that opens. That part works. Let's hook it up and see if it'll play a tape. Of course, we have to dress the wires again out of the way. There's a couple of stiff wires here that they had all the wires wrapped in, just to keep them out of the way so that they didn't get caught in the mechanism. So we'll just kind of tie them out of the way. And okay, there should be tone on this tape. Hey, let me get the guitar tuner and see if we're playing the correct speed. Okay, I misplaced my guitar tuner at the moment. Actually, I haven't misplaced it, it's just the battery's dead and I don't have one. So I got a tone generator going here. We're gonna do this one by ear. Got a 440 hertz tone going. We can hear that this one's flat. So we'll just adjust the speed here. Now we're going the same speed, right? No more beat. Pretty darn close. You can hear a bit of a beat there. But we're within a couple hertz. So that's close enough for me, especially since this is a cheap unit. And I'm only going to be selling it for like 20 bucks anyway, so close enough for me. Let's do a test recording and see how it sounds on a record. Incidentally, if you guys are wondering how I generated that tone, I just used Audacity and generated a 440 tone. Right, so that was my reference tone on my laptop. That's how I did my reference tone on this, just so I could beat with the tone on this that I recorded on a deck that I calibrated with an actual 1 kilohertz calibration tape with a frequency counter. I'm just gonna record. Okay, we'll just okay, that should be good enough. We'll just rewind this tape back to 0. And I don't appear to have a left channel. Let's clean that remote. Let's clean that record play switch and see if it's just the record play switch that's causing it. Since so many of you seem to have a hate on for deoxit, I'm not going to use that in this one, just so I don't have to listen to the whining and complaining from people. I'll use neutral on this particular unit. Even though my can is almost empty. Well, that can's empty. I have a full can. Let me grab the other can. This is the original neutral, not the environmentally friendly, safe for use on food equipment neutral contact cleaner. This is the original. Stuff goes back to, I guess, probably the 80s. So this is the good stuff. You can't get this stuff anymore. They don't make this formulation anymore. Okay, we'll give this one a shot. Let it run down into the switch and clean the contacts. Now normally I would use my good old deoxit because I've got a couple cans of it and it seems to work pretty good, but since there's such a hate on from people, every time I talk about it or use it, I get like umpteen dozen thumbs downs from people out there. So now you can give me a thumbs down for using neutral, okay? So let's test this out again. Okay, recording again. Okay, I still only have one channel. Interesting. Interesting. But it's actually there, it's just weak. I wonder if the head is dirty. It is recording, it's just low. I wonder if that head is dirty. So we'll just give it a clean. I didn't think about that. Doesn't look to be, like, it doesn't look to be dirty, but you can have heads that are contaminated and don't really appear to be physically that. Well, I guess it was. You see, it didn't look like it was dirty, but look what came off of it. Okay, we'll try that again. Record. There we go. That's all it was. Yeah, sounding pretty good. Yep. That's sounding good. Okay, I think we got it. I think we got this one. That's it. It's fixed. Now I can put it back together and move on. We get the bottom on it here. You notice how they got shielding on the bottom, as if that's going to really shield it. I guess I don't think it's grounded to anything. And no. Well, I guess maybe it is here. There's a metal tab there, so maybe it does have a bit of a ground, but nothing like putting a real metal plate on the bottom if you want to shield your electronics. But hey, by the standards of the crap that's out on the market today, this actually is probably not bad. You know, I mean, back in the day when this was new, this was considered to be a low-end deck. But when you look at what this unit is compared to what followed it, it actually doesn't look to be a half bad little build. That mechanism actually was pretty good. The whole full soft touch controls on it and everything. And the top cover. Gotta love the top covers on this thing. It just snaps on, and there's a couple screws that hold it in. And that's it. This one's back together. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch ya in the next one. Bye for now.